In this video, I'm going to talk about upgrading from these old school style radiators to a ducted HVAC system, some of the complications and expenses that come along with that, and whether or not it's worth it for you. I am not an HVAC expert by any means, but I am a real estate investor that has remodeled my fair share of homes, and I can tell you that these old school style systems, they work very well, they are very reliable, however they are very outdated, and let's be honest, they are pretty darn ugly looking. The first step to switching out this system is getting rid of your existing system. So cutting literally all of these, removing them out of the house, which by the way, they are very heavy, and then also hiring the appropriate company or contractor to come out and get rid of your gas or oil furnace and your oil tank. It's very important you have a professional do this. You don't want to have just anybody try to mess with those parts or systems, especially in regards to oil, because if you have any kind of spill, any kind of contamination, now you have a giant headache to deal with, and you don't want that. Usually once your old system has been removed, the old oil tank and the old furnace is gone, your HVAC technician will come out and install a new system, typically down here in the basement. And in order to put in new ductwork, they have to figure out where to run the ductwork so that it can make it to every room in the house. And sometimes this is a little bit more challenging than you think. Oftentimes what HVAC technicians will do is they'll run something called a chase from the basement all the way to the attic, which is basically almost like a chute where they run the ductwork for the air to get up, and then once it's up in the attic above me, they then disperse it out to each room, ensuring that that air makes it to each room and circulates back around. Now, the issue with running a chase from the basement up to the attic is that it could affect your layout, and you're gonna need to take account for where that ductwork is gonna run up through the house. So in these old houses where we have old chimneys that are remaining in place, oftentimes we run the chase alongside the chimney all the way up that way. That's one option we could do. Right here where we have this old cabinetry, that's another spot where we might carve out a spot and frame it so that the ductwork can run up. But you need to keep this in mind because the ductwork needs to go somewhere, and it's going to affect your layout and the overall look of the house. So because the ductwork has to be in so many hard to reach places, and we have to run a chase from down in the basement all the way up to the attic and get it to all these different areas in the house, as you can imagine, this gets expensive. You need a lot of parts, a lot of materials for this, a lot of time and labor. The technicians have to get up in a lot of hard to reach places, up in your attic, in your basement, sometimes in your crawl spaces. So it's a very meticulous process, and as a result, like I said, it can be very expensive. On a house like this that's about 1,000 square feet, it could range anywhere from about $10,000 to $20,000 adding the ductwork along with your heating and cooling system. But when you get to get rid of these and have an entire new aesthetic to the home, it might be worth it, especially if you're updating to a newer, more modern, more energy efficient system. It could actually cost you less in your gas bills every year. So it's something worth considering. Whether the pros outweighs the cons, and whether it's going to be worth it for you in your specific situation.